Helen, thank you very much for inviting me along today. As you know, I'm Sergeant Andy Gregory, one of West Midlands Police's Crime Prevention Design Advisors. You very kindly allowed us access today to have a look at your house, to give you some security tips and hopefully make your home safer, and also pass on some of those security tips to other people. If you haven't got a pane of glass there, make sure in the door you get a spy hole fitted. It's great to see me coming up to the door, but also there's a weak point there with your keys left in the door.
Right.
Make sure you take your keys with you or leave them away from the door.
Right.
Otherwise somebody could smash the window and gain access.
Right.
The one thing we always recommend is a good solid 5-lever mortise lock. Okay, and if you wish to check that, we can open the door and actually on the lock here it will say whether it's a 3 or a 5-lever mortise lock. When people actually come to your door, okay, always stop and think, am I expecting a visitor? Fit the chain, okay, and when you open the door, they've got space there to pass their identification through. Okay. Just a few points about the outside of the house. If somebody's trying to break into the property, they'll obviously like to do it away from the main road. To try and stop somebody getting into the back garden, a very simple tip. Above the gate, you've got your 2 metres high gate. There's about 18 inches or 30 centimetres of trellis, some crisscross fencing that's loosely fitted across the top. And if somebody's trying to break into the property, they don't like climbing up and over because it's loose, very rickety, and they might fall. It can also make a noise as well, so you could also hear it if somebody's trying to climb over the garden fence. Firstly, don't leave it open, particularly a ground floor window. It's easily accessible from the side of the house. You've also left your key in as well, okay? Keys can obviously be stolen, so lock it, okay, and take the key out, make sure that's well hidden away. One point I will make, Helen, is the new window that you've had fitted is a really good solid window, and if I can just make a point here, there's a number of anchor points there, so it's actually fitted securely into the wall. It's nice to see you've got a number of locks. You've got a 5-lever mortise lock, which is great, okay? And you've got 2 additional locks at the top and the bottom, which really strengthen the door. Don't leave your keys in the door. Even if you're in the front of the house, somebody could quite easily smash the glass and access the door or access the house by using the keys. Please think about either laminating this glass or getting it reinforced, perhaps with double glazing, just so it's stronger. Gardens, particularly back gardens, can be vulnerable points for householders, so what I'd like to do, if we can, is spend a bit of time just walking around the garden, having a look at if there's any few or any other points that we can point out to you to make the house a bit more secure. I mean, we mentioned about the trellis at the front. Here you've got a side alleyway there, and again, slightly vulnerable. Somebody could quite easily climb over, so it'd be quite nice just to put some trellis along the top there, some additional fencing to stop somebody coming in and climbing in. It's nice to see you've got some spiky plants in the garden. One thing I would recommend is when we put some trellis up, or when you put some trellis up in the garden, is to grow some what's called defensive planting, some spiky plants through the trellis, and that will stop anybody breaking in because they don't like the thorns on them. This really is a concealed place. It's a hiding place that somebody breaking into or coming into the garden, attempting to break into the house, could spend a bit of time and actually eye up the house and eye up the property. So look at getting these shrubs cut back. I know you might think this is a really simple point, but a lot of people don't consider this. Easy accessible first floor windows. Somebody could quite easily pull that bin to the back of the kitchen wall and use that as a climbing aid. When you're going out to work, please make sure that that window is shut and it's locked. Nice to see that you've got the shed actually padlocked. I would certainly recommend a stronger padlock than that. And finally, the vulnerable part of this door is actually these screws, because that shouldn't be shown. Okay, the hasp and staple should be concealed, or the actual screws should be concealed to stop somebody breaking in, because at the moment somebody could undo those screws and open the door without actually damaging the padlock. But I'm making no noise whatsoever. If this was late at night, I could quite easily force the door open there, okay, and that needs to be fitted the other way around. Okay, Helen, I've just marked the holes. I'm going to re-screw this hasp and staple sort of back on and fit that back for you. And then I would also recommend a stronger padlock. There you go. One thing that you haven't got though is some security lighting, and I would recommend in a couple of points, one on the back of the house just above this door and one at the side of the house here, security lights that will be activated with what they call a passive infrared. Okay, so that will activate the light and it will come on for a few seconds if somebody's in the back garden. Okay, Helen, we've just walked into your front room and there's a big window here that if anybody was walking past with criminal intent, but if I was trying to break into your property, I could come up here into your front garden from the road and have a look at what you've got on display. One of the things to point out, a number of electrical items. You've got your TV and your Sky box there, your television box there. If you're out during the day, just pull the curtain across slightly so they can't actually see what items you've got there. Helen, when I came into the room, it was nice to see that you're actually using a time switch as well. And if you're going away on holiday, okay, perhaps 2 or 3 of these in different rooms, dotted around with a lamp coming on and going off at different times, and it makes it look as though your home is occupied. I'd just like to use this property marking pen and mark some of your electrical items with your postcode and your house number. So if the property is lost or stolen, it makes it easier for the police to trace. So if it's possible, if you could pass me those over, and what I'll do is mark your postcode inside the phone with your postcode and your house number. If you can write down all of the serial numbers for all the different electrical products, your television and your music system, etc. And things like your mobile phone, we can register on immobilized.com. And each mobile phone has what's called an IMEI number. It's a 13 or a 14-digit number. So if ever that phone went missing and we found that phone with somebody else or somebody handed it in, again, through that website we can get that telephone back to you. Hopefully you found that of interest and certainly of use, and hopefully it will be of use to you and your family as well, but also to other people at home that are watching, and they will benefit from some of these hints and tips as well. Thank you for allowing us to use your house and spending time with you today, and I'll see you again. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.